The F-47, America's response to China's secret fighter program. What if everything you thought you knew about air superiority was about to become completely irrelevant? On December 26, 2025, China shocked the world by test flying two mysterious sixth-generation fighter prototypes that appeared decades ahead of anything the West had seen. These weren't just new planes. They were game-changers that threatened to end America's three-decade reign as the undisputed ruler of the skies. The response came swift and decisive. Just 5 months later, President Trump stood at the White House podium and announced the birth of the F-47, a fighter so advanced that it promised to redefine the very nature of aerial warfare. But here's what they didn't tell you. This wasn't just about building a better jet. This was about preventing the most powerful military in history from becoming obsolete overnight. For nearly 20 years, America had enjoyed something no other nation in history ever possessed: complete and total air dominance. The F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning were technological marvels that made every other fighter in the world look like museum pieces. These weren't just superior aircraft. They were apex predators in a sky full of sheep. But predators only stay at the top as long as nothing stronger comes along. The first crack in America's armor appeared in 2017 when China rolled out the J-50 Mighty Dragon. Then Russia followed with the Su-57 Felon. Suddenly, stealth fighters weren't an American monopoly anymore. The technological gap that once seemed impossible to bridge was shrinking with terrifying speed. Nations weren't just catching up, they were leapfrogging entire generations of development. But the real nightmare scenario wasn't individual countries building better planes. It was entire continents joining forces against American dominance. Europe launched two massive collaborative projects: the Future Combat Air System, bringing together France, Germany, and Spain, while Britain and Italy developed the Tempest program. When these European powers merged their projects with Japan to form the Global Combat Air Program, the message was crystal clear. The age of American air superiority was ending. Then came December 26, 2025, a date that will forever mark the moment everything changed. Without warning, without intelligence leaks, without any prior indication, China conducted test flights of two completely unknown aircraft. The grainy satellite images and amateur footage that leaked online showed designs so radical, so advanced, that Pentagon analysts initially dismissed them as fake. The aircraft had no tails, no conventional control surfaces. They looked more like alien spacecraft than fighter jets. Intelligence agencies scrambled to understand what they were seeing. The aircraft appeared to be prototypes for the Chengdu J-36 and Shenyang J-50, China's two separate sixth-generation fighter programs. But these weren't just incremental improvements over existing designs. They represented a fundamental rethinking of what a fighter aircraft could be. China hadn't just joined the sixth-generation race. They appeared to be winning it. The panic in Washington was immediate and absolute. For the first time since the Cold War, America faced the terrifying possibility of losing its technological edge in military aviation. The comfortable assumption that American engineers would always stay ahead of their competitors was shattered in a single day. How do you respond when your biggest rival reveals they've been working on weapons you didn't even know were possible? The story of the F-47 actually begins more than a decade earlier, back when the F-22 was still considered invincible. Between 2010 and 2014, Pentagon strategists identified a growing problem. Adversaries like China and Russia were becoming masters of area denial warfare. They were creating vast bubbles of protected airspace using sophisticated surface-to-air missiles and advanced radar networks, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region. American military planners realized they needed a new concept called penetrating counter-air, a fighter capable of seeing farther, penetrating deeper into contested zones, and surviving against threats that didn't even exist yet. This was essentially an admission that even the mighty F-22 had limitations that future conflicts would expose. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency and the Air Force quietly launched the Next Generation Air Dominance Program in 2014, with a breathtaking goal: develop not just a new fighter, but an entire family of systems that would replace both the F-22 and F-35, ensuring American air supremacy for the rest of the century. The program was classified black, with a starting budget of $9 billion allocated through 2025. Then in September 2020, the Air Force dropped a bombshell announcement that sent shockwaves through the defense community. A full-scale flight demonstrator for the program had already been built and successfully flown. No pictures were released, no technical details provided, just the cryptic revelation that America's next-generation fighter was already taking flight in the Nevada desert. The program moved at unprecedented speed, using revolutionary digital engineering and manufacturing techniques. Traditional military procurement typically takes decades to go from concept to flying prototype. But the Next Generation Air Dominance program accomplished this in just 6 years. The message was clear. America wasn't standing still while competitors closed the gap. As the program progressed, its budget began to swell dramatically. By 2023, estimates soared to around $20 billion as the Pentagon designated it a strategically vital initiative essential for the post-F-22 era. But with expansion came sticker shock. Each sixth-generation fighter was projected to cost an eye-watering $300 million per unit, twice the price of an F-22, and 3 times that of an F-35. In July 2024, Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall delivered devastating news. The manned aircraft component of the program was being paused due to astronomical costs. In an era of budget cuts and shifting priorities, even the most advanced military in the world had limits on what it could afford. The most ambitious air dominance program in history seemed destined to be grounded by its own price tag. But China's shocking December 2025 revelation changed everything overnight. The unexpected appearance of the J-36 and J-50 prototypes sent a wave of urgency through Washington that swept away all budget concerns. The perception that China's new stealth aircraft could directly compete with, or even surpass American capabilities, provided the perfect political justification to restart the program at any cost. The pause was over, funding was secured, and on May 21, 2025, President Trump announced that Boeing had been chosen as the prime contractor to develop and produce the centerpiece of America's response. The new sixth-generation fighter received the designation F-47, a name steeped in symbolism. It honored the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt of World War II, referenced 1947 when the Air Force became an independent service branch, and subtly acknowledged Trump as the 47th president. But what makes the F-47 truly revolutionary isn't its stealth capabilities or advanced engines. It's a fundamental shift in the philosophy of air combat. The F-47 isn't designed to operate alone like traditional fighters. Instead, it serves as a command and control platform, a quarterback in the sky whose most powerful weapon isn't a missile, but an advanced artificial intelligence system integrated into its core. Under the F-47's command operates a swarm of collaborative combat aircraft, intelligent, semi-autonomous drones carrying sensors and weapons. Supporting them are ground command stations, early warning aircraft, and satellites. Together, they form a digital swarm where humans, AI, and machines work in seamless, deadly coordination through a tactical data network that allows real-time information sharing between every unit in the air, on the sea, and on the ground. Picture this scenario. A single piece of intelligence about an enemy target's location gets picked up by a drone, satellite, or ground radar. The F-47 pilot knows about it almost instantly. The onboard AI processes this data, suggests a course of action, and the pilot can command multiple drones to engage in a coordinated attack or delegate the entire task to the tactical AI system. The F-47 itself never has to expose its position or break radio silence. In another scenario, the F-47 receives target coordinates from a satellite. The pilot directs one drone to act as a decoy, intentionally triggering enemy radar systems. While the enemy focuses on the decoy, the F-47 and another drone approach from a completely different direction to destroy the target. Throughout this engagement, the primary aircraft remains electronically silent and nearly invisible. The original plan called for each F-47 to control at least 2 drones, but future configurations could see 3, 4, or even 5 drones per manned aircraft. An opponent would face constantly shifting, unpredictable tactics from a combat system with no discernible center, like fighting against smoke itself. To execute these revolutionary tactics, the F-47 required equally revolutionary engineering. The most obvious difference from previous fighters is its bizarre, alien-like appearance. Compared to even the stealthiest fifth-generation fighters, the F-47's design is dramatically different. The vertical and horizontal tail fins are completely gone, And sharp angles have been drastically reduced because every fin and edge can reflect radar waves back to their source. Modern stealth trends towards smooth, blended surfaces and canted angles that deflect radar energy away, rather than reflecting it back. The result is an aircraft that looks more like a pure diamond, or flying wing, than a traditional fighter. But removing the surfaces that provide stability creates a significant engineering challenge. How do you keep an inherently unstable aircraft from falling out of the sky? The answer lies in incredibly advanced flight control systems. The F-47 relies on hyper-responsive AI-assisted fly-by-wire technology and integrated control surfaces on the main wings to maintain stability and maneuverability. Some sources suggest it might use canards, small forward wings, to provide additional lift and control, though this would represent a deliberate trade-off between maximum stealth and superior aerodynamic performance. Another critical requirement is extended range. The F-22 operates at a maximum radius of about 3,000 kilometers with external fuel tanks, while the F-35 is limited to around 2,200 kilometers. The F-47 is expected to reach up to 4,000 kilometers without needing mid-air refueling, a capability that requires revolutionary engine technology. The F-47 will likely use adaptive cycle engines developed under the Air Force's Adaptive Engine Transition Program, either General Electric's XA-100 or Pratt & Whitney's XA-101. These engines can physically change their configuration in flight, shifting between high-thrust mode for combat and high-efficiency mode for long-distance cruising. This allows the F-47 to fly farther, faster, and use significantly less fuel while maintaining supersonic cruise without fuel-guzzling afterburners. Every detail, down to the S-shaped air intake ducts that hide reflective engine fan blades, is optimized for making the F-47 the most dominant and elusive predator the world has ever seen. But the true heart of the aircraft isn't its revolutionary shape or engines, it's the electronics. The F-47 represents a quantum leap in military aviation technology, designed as the central coordinating hub of the modern battlefield. Its AI system isn't just a virtual assistant, it's a co-pilot capable of machine learning, analyzing battlefield data in real time, providing tactical recommendations, and independently prioritizing targets or deploying countermeasures against incoming threats. The radar system is another revolutionary element designed specifically to counter enemy stealth aircraft. Instead of using single-frequency X-band radar, like the F-22 and F-35, the F-47 integrates next-generation radar, capable of operating on multiple frequency bands simultaneously. This dramatically increases its ability to detect low observable targets optimized to evade traditional radar systems. Using AI algorithms, the F-47 can analyze enemy radar emissions, predict their intentions, and execute intelligent adaptive jamming techniques tailored to specific threats, something previous generations could never accomplish. Its ability to track massive numbers of targets simultaneously and present that data to the pilot in clear, intuitive formats represents a major leap in radar performance. Working alongside the radar is a multispectral sensor system that fuses information from infrared, optical, electronic signals, and radar sources into a single 360-degree picture of the battle space. Instead of interpreting data from separate systems, the F-47's core computer synthesizes everything into one intuitive, AI-assisted interface, allowing pilots to gain situational awareness earlier, see farther, and react faster to unexpected threats. The F-47 also serves as a critical node in a fully integrated combat network, where every asset from satellites and ground stations to naval warships and drones is connected. The aircraft doesn't just receive information, it acts as a central brain processing and distributing battlefield data to other units in real time. In the decentralized, fast-paced combat of the future, this ability to share a common operating picture becomes the key to survival and victory. Advanced military data links enable this networking capability. Link 16 connects the F-47 to broader coalition forces, transmitting tactical information like radar tracks, target locations, and commands between air, sea, and ground units. Its encrypted signals use frequency hopping to resist jamming and interception. For communication between stealth aircraft, the multifunction advanced data link provides enhanced security and low probability of intercept. helping aircraft avoid detection by enemy sensors. The F-47's electronic warfare suite provides superior jamming and deception capabilities against enemy systems. Its self-protection systems include radar warning receivers to detect threatening radar waves and directed infrared countermeasure systems that can automatically blind incoming heat-seeking missiles. The aircraft can generate false signals to lure away radar-guided missiles and execute targeted, intelligent jamming by analyzing opponent radar signatures and responding with precisely tailored jamming techniques. Perhaps the most strategically important lesson learned from the F-22 concerns adaptability rather than performance. All F-47 systems use an open architecture structure, where software and hardware are divided into separate modules connecting through standardized interfaces. This modular design makes upgrades faster, less complex, and developable by a wider range of contractors from different companies and allied nations. The open architecture maintains multiple layers of security to prevent cyber attacks, while allowing the aircraft to maintain its technological edge throughout its service life without requiring complete and costly airframe redesigns. This modularity transforms the F-47 from static hardware into an evolving platform, a foundation for expanding the entire doctrine of modern air combat. But even as the F-47 promises to restore American air superiority, profound questions linger about the future of warfare itself. The aircraft represents more than technological advancement. It embodies a fundamental shift toward combat systems so complex, so fast, and so autonomous that they begin to move beyond human comprehension. The F-47 emerges as the symbol of a new generation, where dominance is determined not by raw speed, stealth, or firepower alone, but by the ability to process information, conduct multi-domain warfare, and adapt in real time to rapidly changing battlefields. The human pilot, once a lone warrior in the sky, becomes the calm center of a digital hurricane, with sensors extended across hundreds of miles and decisions amplified by artificial intelligence. This represents more than evolution. It's a fundamental rewriting of the rules of engagement. The F-47 promises to create a battle space so complex and lethal that opponents operating under old warfare paradigms would be rendered instantly obsolete. It offers an era of decision dominance where victory comes not just from destroying enemies, but from outthinking, outmaneuvering, and out-networking them at every turn. As the race for technological supremacy between great powers accelerates, driven by relentless advances in artificial intelligence, a profound question emerges. Is the F-47 truly the ultimate weapon? Or simply a transitional step toward future generations of conflict so advanced and autonomous that they move beyond human comprehension entirely? The answer may determine not just who controls the skies, but who controls the future itself. Only time will reveal whether America's bold gamble on the F-47 will secure another generation of air dominance or mark the beginning of an entirely new kind of warfare that no single nation can hope to control. But here's the shocking part. The F-47 isn't the only weapon America is hiding. The next program is even more secret, and it could change everything again. Watch that story, right here.